Hi guys. So we're back here again for another exciting interview, and today I have our client Lisa Hagen with me. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay,
Lisa Hagen.
perfect. That's good. All right. So Lisa, welcome. She has just recently finished this very beautiful book with a nice front cover, When Night Falls. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, about our experiences working together. And if anyone's interested, then you guys are welcome to pick up the book from the link above. So just to dive into that, Lisa, do you want to tell us just like a pinch of information about yourself?
I'm an English teacher, so I work in a inner city secondary school. And so I spend my day with words and with books.
And do you want to tell people, just roughly speaking, like what this book is about, When Night Falls?
Yeah, so in 2017, I went on a trip to Kilimanjaro with some of my students.
Right.
It was a pilgrimage in memory of my dad.
Mm.
Um, so the book really is a journey um, processing through that grief, how we can navigate it, and how the natural world actually can be one of life's great healers.
What got you into wanting to write a novel? Like, what was that moment where you realized, you know what, I'm gonna write about this?
When I first lost my dad, which was in 2011,
Right.
um, I was given by a friend, and at the time, through that initial kind of experience, I used to write poetry, and that was my coping mechanism or my way to kind of navigate emotion at that point in time.
I think people underestimate how like sort of cathartic and how healing writing a book can be.
Yeah.
So when we first connected with each other, what kind
Mhm.
of what kind of stage were you at with everything? How much had you written at that point?
So it was really quite raw, and when I first kind of met you, which was August before last, or when we first had a first encounter, my instinct or my belief was that I wanted to turn it into um, quite a realistic novel. It was only kind of through our work together
Yeah.
that we kind of teased out actually a more lyrical novel that made it or help amplified it to help it make it more universal. Like I'd written sections and parts and obviously know the narrative, um, but I was kind of like a little bit mixed up in terms of
Yeah.
what direction to take it in to reach a wider audience, I guess. Many of us, certainly in this group, will have stories within us that we want to share. Um, but I think I really enjoyed the modules at the beginning, which actually help us to think of the 3D experience in the
Mm.
planning pages behind the book. Now,
Yeah.
not necessarily out into the page itself,
Yeah.
but having a kind of journey, if you like, with everything that we're going to bring to the narrative in the beginning stages, I think helped me to be a better writer in the sense because I
Good.
was becoming more aware, especially with characterization, becoming more aware of how the subtle details or the nuances I could kind of introduce. And so I think it helped to make my writing richer than maybe if I'd have just tried to just go straight to the page.
Yeah, yeah. I think those beginning exercises, we really try to design design it so that when we start working with somebody, we're getting them to take a step back and really reassess what the shape of everything is going to be and how this story works and what it's all meant to mean. So I'm glad to hear that you found that helpful. Lisa, you finished a novel. That's an amazing thing to do. Um, do you feel like there's anything that you've learned or taken away from the journey of writing a book?
Not lots of things really. So I have a vision board in my office at home and various like big ideals that I would want. And the start of 2022 was a picture of myself being like an author.
Awesome.
So for it to actually have, for it to have become realized, um, is a huge accomplishment for me. Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's like in your shoes from whatever it was, like 8 months, a year ago, and they're trying to tackle this journey for the first time and they're thinking about whether to get some help with this or not? What would you say to someone who's back at the beginning where you were?
Um, I would say you need to understand your why. I would suggest just to lean into the support of your coaches,
Mm.
um, the community, because between yourself and Anna and Jamie, and each of my beta readers, um, Roman especially, like I think there would have been moments where I would have stopped quite
Yeah,
easily.
yeah,
Um,
no, exactly.
if you understand your why and lean into the community,
That's great.
um, you'll be surprised about how far you can actually go.
Uh,
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa. Love that. Love that. So for anybody who's interested in picking up When Night Falls, I'm going to put the link to it above in the post, so you guys can just click to check that out on Amazon. Lisa, do you want me to put like your social media stuff above? I don't know if you're doing that.
Yeah, I can put a link to my Instagram.
Oh, I'll put it afterwards. So if you guys want to check that out, that'll be above as well. If anyone's interested in having the kind of support network that Lisa was talking about in the video, if you'd like to follow in Lisa's footsteps, just send me a message and we can have a chat about your book and see if we can get you on a similar path to finish your book too. Maybe I'll have you on an interview next. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thanks for your time.